Are your kitchen and bathroom way overdue for a remodel? Well, I got the guy for you. Call John Sellers at First Response Contracting, 484-256-7136. Both residential and commercial services, and he's licensed and insured. Call him at 484-256-7136. First Response Contracting.
From real estate to real life and everything in between. The Brad Weisman Show. And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
Wow, there we go. I am so excited about this show. I think I say that every time. Hugo, do I say that every single time? I say it pretty much every single time. I'm really excited because I used to do a show called Here's What's Happening with Tony Reese. It was Gami Nieves and Robyn Jones. Now you have to guess which one's in the studio here. No, you don't have to do that. But no, we used to do this great show, and it was basically a podcast and a show, a streaming show, that every week we said what was going on in the county. And the person that was the most organized every single week, and the person that always had great notes, was Robyn Jones.
And I loved every second of it. That was so fun to do that.
You were always so prepared.
I'd have notes printed out or on my iPad, and Brad would have a Reading Eagle that he would just sort of leaf through.
Remember when I would forget it sometimes? And I would get like, oh, shoot. I'd be like, Robyn, you have anything for me? She would share her notes with me.
Or I would go through something of great detail, and then Gami would start over.
Oh, my gosh.
I'd be like, I just went through that.
That was hilarious. Well, I think a lot of times he was running the board.
Yeah, right.
So he was running the board, and then you would say something, and we'd all look at each other like, wow, we just talked about that. We just talked about that.
That was fun.
So it was a lot of fun. I missed that show.
For years we did it.
It did. Yeah. And it was so fun. So now I'm back here. We got another show, which is the show that I'm doing now, which I love doing. And I'm glad that you agreed to come in here.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. So you are the publisher of Berks County Living. You've been since 2001, or maybe you didn't start as the publisher.
I started not just, but I started as the sales rep.
Okay.
I eventually became the associate publisher and then the publisher.
Yeah. I have a question. What in the world does a publisher do?
So many people think that, because a lot of people think the editor is in charge of the magazine, but it's really the publisher, and the editor works for me.
Okay.
We work together. That sounded sort of
sure. No, I know what you meant. Yeah.
But so I sort of I think I have the best job because I get to oversee everything and have my hand in everything.
Gotcha.
But just sort of keep it moving. So I'm in charge of the editorial team, the sales.
The editorial would be the writing, right?
Right.
The writing that goes into the magazine.
Right.
Gotcha.
So Nikki Murray's our editor.
Yep.
And then all of our writers and photographers are all freelance people that we just hire on assignment to do the job.
So if you need to do something with West Reading, you call John Sakojas or you call whoever, and they go out and they do the job.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So we assign them, like for the writers, a word count, what we're looking for in the piece. And Nikki and I together come up with what all the articles are going to be. And we plan super far in advance.
So how far in advance do you actually do this magazine?
Oh, we work so far in advance. It's crazy how we have to work in advance. So we work months in advance. So, for example, in February, the February issue is published.
Yes.
The March issue is already at the printer.
Wow.
The April issue, we're working on the design. All the May and potentially June assignments are out, which is crazy.
Wow. So that's why you say to me sometimes when I've done ads in the past, you're like, we need to have this. And I'm like, geez, it's so far. It's so far from now. Like, why do I need that? So you plan it out that far in advance. It's incredible.
And we have to release our editorial calendar usually in the fall of each year. So pretty much every week over the summer, Nikki and I have an editorial meeting where we plan what the next year's content is going to be. Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
that's incredible.
If something comes up throughout the year that we think, all right, that's a better idea and more timely, we'll
do that.
What we have and we can change. But
you know what's amazing? To me, it's always like a puzzle piece too.
That's exactly.
Am I right? Yeah. Like seriously, because if somebody says they're going to do an ad, right? Like look at a magazine, it's like a puzzle piece. You have everything, every space is filled.
Right.
It's all filled in. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so if there's an ad that doesn't make it, or somebody cancels an ad, what do you do then?
Well, it is totally like a puzzle. We call it a thumbnail, and I actually do the layout of the magazine to decide exactly where all the ads are going to be. And we try to thoughtfully place the ads. So in the magazine, we have different sections of the magazine. And our idea for doing the sections was we used to have a bridal issue. It's our annual January issue every year. But we had some businesses say, oh, I don't have anything to do with weddings, so I don't need an ad in that issue.
Got it.
But still all the same readers are getting the magazine at the same time. So if we always have a restaurant article, always have a home-related article, always have fashion, always have events, you'll fit into that article.
Gotcha.
And you're still reaching the same amount of people. But when I place the ads, if you're running an ad about an event, I try to put it in the calendar section.
Sure.
If you're a flooring business, I put it in the home-related article.
Yeah, it has to make sense.
Right.
Like you try and
And people read the ads like they read the editorial because it's all local.
Gotcha.
Which is super nice. So it makes a lot of sense, but we call it a thumbnail, and it's a piece of paper I could show.
Do you actually sketch this out?
Yeah, like I handwrite it and then I color code it.
Oh my gosh.
Our previous art director used to do it on the computer, which was probably faster, but then I always had some changes, and it over the years just became, how about if I just do it, because then I'm going to know that I'm pleased with where everything
That's a lot of work.
went. Yeah, it is, but it's a lot of work when it all comes together. But then if someone says, oh, can I add in something, I don't ever want to say no. Like I want to take the ad. So then I have to figure out, but then it's never just one piece moves. Like
that everything moves. Yeah. It's like doing a Rubik's Cube. When you go to get that one square in there and you come back, forget it. It's all over. Amazing. Now, how many, now you're doing one every month. You're putting out a magazine every month.
Now, when the magazine first started, though, it was a bi-monthly magazine. So it was just 6 issues a year.
Oh, okay.
So I started as the sales rep for just 6 issues every year.
Wow.
And for the first couple of years, that's how it was. And then I was through the process of changing it into a monthly magazine, which was like double the work in the same amount of time. Which
incredible.
Now I can't imagine it being just 6 months. I think I'd be sort of bored. Because there were sort of like a couple of weeks where you're like, I don't really have to work that hard right now. And now you don't get a time to breathe, really.
It's crazy. Do you ever argue with your team, or what's going to be on the front cover, or who's getting up to the front of the magazine, or you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff? Any kind of, like, I'd think of like a movie. I always think they're fighting or something, you know?
No, there's no fighting. But
I just think that there's like a cat fight, or there's a fight that you're like, no, I want this on the front. You know what I mean?
Well,
maybe not.
There's no.
Could be just build up in my mind.
We usually do several cover choices.
Okay.
And our art director creates them, and usually different kind of looks. And then we all sort of vote for our favorite. And lots of times.
Now, does your vote count for more?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I knew it. Hugo.
So
she's the big wig.
I knew it.
That's why there's no fighting.
Yeah. That's why there's no fighting. Because it's just Robyn goes, this is going to be the cover. That's it.
Now, most of the time, I like to go with the majority for the most part, or a variation of the cover. Now, if someone just had their heart set on something and I could tell how important it was, and it wasn't that important to me to have the other one, I would be willing to let them have the right thing. But usually, let's say she did 4 cover choices. Usually I like part of one and part of another, and then a 5th choice comes out, merging the things together.
And who does that part, like the designing of the covers?
Our art director.
Okay, so an art director does that, actually does the artistic part in there. It's incredible. What's your favorite part of doing the magazine? What gets you, like, you can't wait to get into? Is it seeing the finished magazine?
Yes, I love.
See, that's what I would think it would be too.
And so, like, we have
like opening that box of the fresh ones. That's the best part, right?
I do love it. Although sometimes I'm like, please let everything be right. Like you think it is. It all looked going in, but you just never know what's going to happen.
Reminds me of Elf when the 2 pages are missing. Do you remember that from Elf? Elf, the 2 pages are missing and lets it go to print. Yeah.
Or in Friends when Rachel makes the trifle.
Oh yeah, not good, not good. So are there mistakes?
Very rarely.
Yeah.
But just like they often come out on a Friday, and I'm always like, should I look at it, or should I wait till the end of the weekend?
Well, there's nothing you do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's printed. It's done.
Yeah. We've the biggest mistake that I think that was ever made, and it was before I was in charge of any kind.
Thank God.
It was juicy.
Yeah.
She wasn't in charge. Thank goodness. You notice she said there's been no mistakes since she's in charge.
Totally
it's been
the biggest one, and it sort of maybe helped to make me in charge.
Okay.
We did an article on the Schuylkill Sojourn, like the kayaks or the canoes going through.
Yes.
We misspelled Schuylkill on the cover of the magazine.
No.
Can you imagine
on the cover?
On the cover. Of
I got to say, Schuylkill is one that screws me up a lot.
But like if you're publishing a magazine, you should know how to say Schuylkill. So when it printed and it got delivered to my house, and I never saw anything before it arrived at my house, I was like, oh my God. Like
Did you like go holy?
Yeah, I think I like when.
Did you swear? You probably swore.
I did swear. Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But that's incredible that somebody spelled Schuylkill, especially in this area.
Yeah, my gosh.
And doesn't there spell check for these things?
Well, maybe that's not in spell check. I don't know.
Google, probably not.
Absolutely should have. It was a mistake. There's no way to do it.
But how many eyes were on that missed that? It's amazing.
Exactly.
You know?
But I think at the time there were less eyes on it because of the way the team was set up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Amazing. So the other thing too is I got to say, you are everywhere in the community. One of the things I've noticed about you is that you can go to pretty much any event in the area, and usually you either have your hands in it, or you've been there, or you're going there, or whatever. Because I see you a lot of different places. But it's amazing. I mean, you are everywhere. But I think that's a lot to do. That helps a lot with the fact that you do a magazine called Berks County Living. You are living the county. Right. You are definitely involved in everything.
I think you have to be involved in the community in order to produce a community magazine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
I was in that magazine when I got married.
Were you really?
Yeah, with my wife. Heidi Reuter submitted the photos.
All right, yeah. Hugo, when I walked in, I was like, how do I know you? And that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you don't forget a face like that.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Heidi is one of our freelance photographers.
Okay.
She's very good.
For years and years and years. She always does our dining out article. Typically, we do a wedding of hers, and she does lots of stuff.
Yeah, she's very good. I've seen her, a lot of her.
I love her.
Yeah. How many magazines go out?
How many?
How many are printed?
We say we print up to 10,000 magazines per issue, and it all depends if we have like extra distribution. So like upcoming in April is the Southeast Pennsylvania Home and Garden Show.
Cool.
And so we have a booth. This year it's at the Leesport Market, which I think will be interesting and sort of fun. But we'll have a booth at the table. We'll all day long. We'll just stand there and pass out magazines. And then so we print extra copies so we can have them available.
Cool. Yeah, because we get them here at the office. I know we get a copy, which is nice.
We put
it's
in
great.
all of your, your realtor mailboxes.
It's awesome. It's very nice.
Great. And then several realtors in the area give gift subscriptions to the people.
That's a good idea.
Sort of get you familiar with
that. Gets it to their house.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I like that idea. So, also, did you go through high school saying I want to be a magazine publisher?
No, I went through high school and college thinking I wanted to be in elementary education.
Ah, I remember you saying that.
So I graduated from Susquehanna.
How'd that work out for you?
Worked out great for Berks County Living is how that worked out.
Exactly.
But so I graduated to be in elementary education along with everyone else in the world. The year I graduated, wanted to be a teacher. So jobs were few and far between.
Was that back in late 90s?
I graduated college in 91.
Okay, so yeah, that's exactly right. I remember back then
really
there was
like a big boom.
So many teachers.
Yeah. So I substitute taught for 2 years, and then I worked at Sam's Club at night and on the weekends.
Oh my God, Sam's Club!
I can still tell you some.
Did you give out the
codes?
Did you? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I really could tell you. Like
you weren't
all
the receipt
sodas.
checker that puts the line through it. No. Do they really look at the cart? I don't think they do. Do you ever go to BJ?
They do that. And now I do that scan and go thing. So they just show look at your phone.
I don't know how that works.
Sort of something. But anyway, so I graduated to be a teacher and I couldn't. And then eventually I went into sales and then was like, I don't think I could go back to teaching now. But if you think about it, it is sort of similar to what I'm doing now because we gave, like as a teacher, you'd give assignments to students. Now we give assignments to writers.
Yep.
You have a lesson plan. Now we have an editorial plan.
Yeah.
So
true.
There's still
just teaching, especially elementary ed, is a lot of planning.
Yeah. And
a lot of planning.
A lot of planning for this. You have to be totally organized. You have to be sort of spread out, and have various interests like the kids.
I agree 100%.
Very similar. Yeah.
And the other thing is you're involved with the PA Americana region. You're also are you still on the GRIP advisory board? You still doing that or no?
Well, I think I am, but they just haven't asked. They haven't had any meetings.
They didn't kick you off. You don't know. It's been a while.
I know, but
it's been a while.
Yeah,
and women to women.
This is sort of fun, I think.
Yeah.
I think. So I was on the initial board for GRIP, the Greater Reading.
I remember that.
And a founding member of Women to Women.
Oh,
that's sort of fun to be
that is cool. You know what's fun? And I remember the GRIP things. You used to hire me to sing for that sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's really cool.
We used to do our jingle mix.
Oh my God, that's right at the in town.
Yeah.
And was it
Abe Lincoln?
At the Abe Lincoln. Yeah, absolutely. I remember that now. So it says I read this somewhere that you enjoy a glass of wine. And I was like, I know Robyn.
And you thought
it's
bottle.
not just a glass. It's probably a bottle. I know Robyn very well. So you love wine. Red or white?
Both.
Both. Yeah. There you go.
Winter a little more red, summer a little more white. But
isn't it funny how that works?
Yeah.
There's something about the white wine in the summer because it's refreshing.
Crisp and,
exactly. I agree with you. And red wine warms you up.
Yeah, it does.
It's so funny. I feel the same way. Watching good movies. Have you seen any good movies lately?
Right now, well, not right now, but last couple months ago, I'm obsessed with Hallmark movies.
Okay.
I feel the need to watch every holiday movie.
Sure.
And I still watch like now every weekend a new Hallmark movie.
What about like Yellowstone, like that kind of stuff? Do you watch any of that?
I don't watch Yellowstone. I feel as though I missed the boat on that, and I have to go back.
It's so good. We still didn't finish it, but it's so good.
Yeah, my sister and her family love Yellowstone.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if I'd like it, and then I didn't start, and now I'm like, oh, it's so late now. But I watch a lot of streaming shows.
Yeah, those are all fun.
And I love to go to the movie theater too.
Oh yes,
Popcorn
absolutely.
is one of my favorite snacks. So getting popcorn at the movies every time,
And you can get those big ones at the movie theater.
I don't care if I get the tub. I'm willing to take
I'm there.
I'm
there. Yeah, and some Raisinets or something. Yeah. And then also, I know you like to cook. You experiment with new recipes and things like that. And I know since with February here, you do this thing with your friends. Favorite things. You're still doing this.
I'm still doing it.
Because you have been doing this for a long time.
Years. Yeah. I just figure out how long, but for years I've done it and I love it. I love
And it's called Favorite Things.
Yeah.
What
like
is it?
Oprah does it, kind of, doesn't she?
Yeah, so it sort of stemmed from that. So what it is I invite just girlfriends to come, and you have to bring with you 3 of your favorite things of the exact
food
thing.
or is this anything?
More like a present.
Okay, got it.
So 3 things that cost either $10 or less, or this year we're changing it to $15 or
Inflation.
less. Yeah.
Inflation.
It's hard to find things that only cost
$10. You get a pack of gum. That's about it. Yeah.
And but so it's clever how people come up with their items. So you have to do 3 of the exact same thing, and then so like you have an 8 ball.
You've noticed. Yeah.
You'd have to bring 3 of the exact same 8 balls, same colors, same everything. So they're exactly the same. And then I have names that you draw your names out of a hat. And then whatever names you pull is who you give your gift to. So you go home from the party with 3 new presents that then too might become your favorite thing. And so it's really fun to see.
That's really fun.
What the people bring. And then you have to explain like why it's your favorite thing.
Got it.
But so like over the years, like I like to cook and entertain. So I've gotten some Pampered Chef products.
Pampered Chef.
Like I had a party, so then you got free things and I got discounts. So the item that I gave cost more than $10, but the way I was able to purchase it, it cost less. So really, the person, but it's funny. When
you might have to up that to $20.
Yeah,
I mean, it's getting a little rough for 15.
Like you feel bad, like making the people pay
because that 8 ball was more than that. Just so you know, don't. I saw you looking at it, so I don't want you eyeing that up.
That's cute. I like that it's red.
Isn't that cool?
They're black.
I found a red one. Isn't that funny? Yeah. My son has a black one, and he took it back home. So I had to order my own.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's cool.
But so it's neat to see what people bring to the party, and they explain why it's the party. Sometimes as they're explaining it, they might like get teary-eyed, explaining why they love it, which is like, it's just so touching. Or like later, I'll get texts like, I didn't get this item from someone else, but I loved could you find out where they bought it? Like,
very
which is sort of
cool.
Fun. And then I do all the food for the party, which.
Right. Do you still collect spreaders?
I do.
Right? Am I not right? You can believe I remember that? She collects spreaders, which I never knew there was such a thing. I mean, I know what a spreader is, like for like peanut butter or whatever like that. She collects these things, but she goes to like
ones. He gave me one as a present one time.
Yes, I did, because I was like the only because we were somewhere on vacation, Jess and I think, and I saw a spreader. I'm like, we know where we were. We were in Key West. I'm pretty sure we were in Key West. And I'm looking around for stuff for our kids as souvenirs. I said, you know what? I do know somebody that would like that spreader, and it was you, and I brought it. Yeah,
it had like pewter end.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's much easier than spreading things with a spreader than it is with a knife.
Oh my God, yeah. We have these spreaders from Cutco, which are the flat. They are great. Like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or putting butter on something. It's just amazing.
Mayonnaise, getting it out of a jar is
absolutely. It's amazing. Thanks so much for coming out here today. I really appreciate it. What a great conversation. That was awesome.
That was fun.
Yes, very good, very good. So we'll have to get you, Tony, and Gami here for a show. We'll do a little reunion tour or something like that. Just kind of do a reunion about what we used to do. That'd be great. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming in. All right, there you have it. Robyn Jones from Berks County Living, the publisher. And now we know what a publisher is. So thank goodness we know what that is. All right, that's about it. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for watching the show. Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136.